Hello and welcome to the channel. I am Zakarat and today's video is Shadow Zane 10, Sacred World Part 3. The story VOVs written by Gacha Shadow Link. The link to the story will be in the description. I hope you enjoy and please like and subscribe to me and my friend Gacha Shadow Link. Shadow Zane 10, Sacred World Chapter 3, The Champions Arena, Shadow vs. Akaru. Previously on Shadow Zane 10, Shadow and Zane had been introduced to the mysterious girl who called herself Huntress. Once she sees the Omnitrixes, she asks about them. The cousins reveal that they can turn the Warrior into different types of aliens. Shadow Tennyson, for a demonstration, turns into Diamond Head. Huntress then jumped up and attacked Diamond Head, breaking her sword once she struck him. They head to the kingdom of Rhoda in order to fix the broken sword. Once there, Shadow and get attacked by a man wanting to take the Omnitrixes for money. Zane quickly beats him as Weevilbombs, sending the bandit out of the village. The royal guards were called and Shadow turns into Maokai and uses his heroic cannon to blind them. Huntress, walking out covered in blood, gets her and the Tennysons out of the kingdom to explain how things work in the kingdom. They decide to head to the kingdom of Odamura. Shadow, Zane and Huntress have been walking for hours without a single sound. Zane: so tell us about this asshole Hamato. Huntress: you don't need to know any more information, for now at least. Zane: sigh, just trying to make conversation. Huntress remains silent and starts to think about what could happen in Odamura, as they might not have enough silver for what they'll need. They soon arrive at a beautiful-looking kingdom. Shadow and Zane's jaws drop at the sight of Odamura. Shadow: holy shit! This place is beautiful. Bulma would love it here. Zane: this place looks very different from Rhoda. Huntress: the king actually helps the people here. Everyone helps one another, and no one fights inside. After a few minutes, they all arrive at Zabura's blacksmith's shop. Huntress: this time you two are coming in with me. Zane: what? Why? We were perfectly fine on our own the last time. Huntress: you think getting the royal guards called on you is perfectly fine. Zane: fine, we get it. Huntress: good, now don't touch anything. They enter the blacksmith's shop to see a variety of weapons and armor. They then saw a red gauntlet with a green sphere in the center of the top hand. Shadow: that thing looks cool. Huntress: that isn't what we came here for. Shadow: I was just looking. Huntress: don't get distracted, Zabura. A man walked out, and he looked more serious than Jiren. He looked at the Tennysons, then Huntress. Zabura: what do you want this time, Huntress? Huntress: we need your strongest armor, Zabura. Zabura: let me see what I've got. I should have the thing you're looking for in the back. Zabura walks to the back room to look for the armor Huntress is looking for. He sees armor green with bits of black on it, and blue armor with bits of black on it. This armor was made of cryo steel. This type of steel was basically indestructible, but very light to move in. Zabura came out with the armor and set them down on the counter. Shadow: oh my god, those look awesome. The Omnitrix on Shadow's wrist beeps and shows a display of the armor. Omnitrix: cryo-steel armor. Cryo-steel is found on the planet Tematoru. The Splinolians use this to create their armor and weapons. Shadow: awesome. Zabura: alright, that'll be 20,000 silver. Huntress: what? That can't be right. Zabura: sorry, but it is. The armor is made of some steel I've never heard of seen before. Huntress: we don't have that much. Shadow: wait. What? Zabura: if you don't have enough, then why don't one of you two fight in the Champions Arena? Zane: Champions Arena? What's that? Zabura: in the Champions Arena you face the King's champions. If you win, you can take the armor without having to pay. But if you lose, you'll hand over those things on your wrists. Shadow and Zane look at the Omnitrixes. They look back at Zabura and Shadow steps forward. Shadow: Go ahead, I'll take on this Champions Arena thing and you can bet I'll kick all their asses with no sweat. Zabira, you're a cocky one, aren't you? Shadow, tell me something I don't know. Zane, I'm in too. Zabira, sorry, there's only one fighter. Zane, what? Huntress, yeah, that's the first rule. The second rule is there's no killing. Shadow, I can work with that. Zabira, I'll inform King Lejuro now. What was your name again? Shadow, I'm Shadow Tennyson. Zabira, I'll see you there, Tennyson. Huntress, Shadow and Zane exited the blacksmith shop and went to grab something to eat before Shadow had to fight. They talked about what happened before everything. Zane and Shadow explained the full story of how they became known across the entire universe. Of course, Huntress barely believed them, but after everything that has happened, she started to believe the stories more. After a few hours, they walked to the arena where the king and Zabira were waiting. King Lejuro, you must be Shadow Tennyson. Shadow, yes, sir. I mean you. King Lejuro, that's all right, young man. Are these two friends of yours? Shadow, close. This is my cousin Zane, and that's Huntress. I guess she's a friend. Zane, your majesty. Zane bows in respect. Shadow, show off. King Lejuro, come with me, you two, and Shadow, I look forward to see how you fight. Shadow, you would be surprised. Lejuro took Huntress and Zane with him to watch Shadow's fight. Zabira took Shadow his waiting room. After that, he walks away to find a seat. He sits down next to Huntress and Zane. Zabira, you better hope your friend can defend himself. Huntress, I saw him in action. He can handle himself better than these champions would ever. Zane, who are these champions? Huntress, the first champion Shadow will have to face is named Akaru. Akira heads into battle headfirst without thinking of a strategy. I'm guessing Shadow is smarter than that. Zane, he is. This Akira guy is gonna get his ass kicked. Shadow comes out with no weapons in his hands, with a smile on his face, ready to fight. King Lejuro, he doesn't appear to have picked a weapon. Why is that? Zane, you'll see and you might be impressed. King Lejuro, bring out Akaru. A man walks out with two swords and armor on his legs but not on his head, chest and arms. He had a few muscles and looked ready to face Shadow without a second thought. He points one of his swords at Shadow. Akura, so you're the one I'm facing. This won't take too long. You didn't even take a weapon to defend yourself. Shadow, maybe I don't need a weapon, ugly. Akura, you little bastard. Akura begins charging at Shadow with rage in his eyes. Shadow taps the sides of his Omnitrix and begins scrolling through. Once he stops, he presses the faceplate, making the dial pop up. Shadow, it's hero time. Shadow slams the dial down and transforms into his alien Upchuck. Akura stops and stares down at Upchuck and begins laughing. Akura, ha 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 ha. What is this thing? You mean you can turn into completely worthless monsters? You should have taken a weapon, cause now your head is coming off. Akura swings his sword down to Upchuck and Upchuck grabs the sword with his four tongues and begins to pull on it. Akura, what the hell are you doing? Let go of my sword. Upchuck, grrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr transformation. Upchuck overpowers Akura and swallows the sword whole. His stomach begins to glow a green color and looks at Akura. Upchuck, you shouldn't have underestimated this alien buddy. Upchuck spits a glowing ball at Akura. This pushes Akura back a few steps, causing Akura to hold his face in pain. Akura, you're going to pay for that. Upchuck, if I had $1 every time someone said that to me. Akura charges at Upchuck once again. Upchuck slams the Omnitrix, transforming into Crash Hopper. Crash Hopper, can I never get Humongousaur? Crash Hopper Shadow Tennyson's Orthopteran transformation. Crash Hopper jumps in the air, dodging Akura's swing from his sword. Crash Hopper, looks like you missed. Akura, shut it, you damn bug. Akura starts swinging at Crash Hopper rapidly, however Crash Hopper keeps jumping out the way of his attacks. Akura eventually hits Crash Hopper in the arm. Crash Hopper kicks Akura across the arena into a wall. Crash Hopper, is that all you got? Akura once again charges at Crash Hopper, this time getting behind him. Crash Hopper gets sent in a wall. Akura grabs Crash Hopper's leg and starts slamming him into the ground over and over again. He then throws Crash Hopper into the air and readies his blade to cut him in half. Crash Hopper, OHSHIT. Please give me someone good. Crash Hopper slams the Omnitrix and turns into Ghost Freak, stopping him from falling. Ghost Freak, not what I was going for, but thanks anyway. Ghost Freak, Shadow Tennyson's Ectoneurite transformation. Ghost Freak stays in the air for a while to think of a strategy in order to beat Akura and move on to the next round. Ghost Freak, I could use Makai and finish this instantly. But where's the fun in that? I could use Waybig and squish him, but that would probably kill him. So what if I use... Ghost Freak slams the Omnitrix and transforms into his favorite alien to use when he was 10. Feedback, let's turn up the power. Feedback, Shadow Tennyson's Conductoid transformation. Feedback begins to fall back down to the arena, aiming his hands at Akura and putting whatever energy the Omnitrix gave him into a single shot. Akura, what in the Wollard? Feedback, you said you were going to, we're going to cut off my head. Well, I'd like to see you try now. Feedback shoots Akura, sending him out of the arena completely. Feedback slams the Omnitrix and turns back to human. King Lejuro, that was very impressive. Please tell me what happened. Zane, well, me and Shadow have these things called the Omnitrixes. They allow us to transform into different types of aliens. King Lejuro, really? That is truly interesting. Zabura, gay. Grrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr Damn it. There are still 4 champions remaining, so he could still lose. Shadow, so, who's next? Zabira, are you sure you don't want to take a break, Tennyson? It looks like you need some rest. Shadow, I'll pass, there's still 4 remaining, aren't there? So, bring out the next guy already. Huntress in her mind, is he seriously going to fight? What is that dumbass thinking? Damn it, Tennyson! King Lejuro, as you wish, Tennyson, bring out Shizuka. A scrawny man covering his face walks out, he's holding a kunai in his right hand. Shadow, so, you're my next opponent? Shizuka, indeed I am Shizuka. Shizuka, the second champion Shadow must face. While Shadow can tell there's something more to him than he thinks, what secret is Shizuka hiding? Find out next time on Shadow, Zane 10, Sacred World.